About John Dowd, the president's former attorney, dangling pardons in front of Mike Flynn and other, I believe at the time they were witnesses. They became targets. They were charged, and some have pleaded guilty. But is the very act of dangling pardons, could that be construed as obstruction of justice by Bob Mueller's investigators?
You know, the president has this near absolute power to grant pardons, so he can do that. But we've seen in other aspects of this investigation that you can do something that's legal. You can, for instance, be Rod Blagojevich and select a new senator. But if you do it in exchange for a bribe, it becomes a crime. We're seeing a little bit of that here, too. You can go ahead and grant pardons, but if you're doing it to obstruct an investigation, then it can become evidence in that case, and it's a little bit like playing poker, where you don't know what's in the other guy's hand, but he draws a card and maybe it gives him a full house or maybe it gives him a royal flush. Here Trump is tweeting, and it's like he's playing with Mueller and doesn't realize it, and any one of these tweets could be completing Mueller's hand and giving him the evidence he needs for obstruction, or perhaps he's already there.
Matt, I want to come back to your piece in this question of Rosenstein, because we don't spend enough time, I don't think, asking questions about the possibilities. I mean, is it possible that he has, I don't know if the word witness is right, but could he be a witness? Could he have had to share with Mueller sort of all of his version of these events? Andy McCabe is also a witness. Could Andy McCabe, I mean, is Bob Mueller sitting on everything that was in your story today? And is this already of interest, do you think, to the special counsel that Rosenstein has a role in all this in terms of creating the cover story that only held up until the president blew his own cover story with Lester Holt?
Yeah, I have no doubt that Bob Mueller has a pretty clear picture of the Comey firing through the lenses of all of the players, save for the president himself. And that's why the interview with the president is potentially so significant, because you can draw inferences from all of these people about what might have been in the president's head. But when you're getting to the question of intent, that's why you want to hear from the person himself. You know, we do know that that the president gave Rod Rosenstein his draft firing letter of Jim Comey, and that McCabe actually got a copy of that draft from Rosenstein and gave that draft to Bob Mueller, along with copies of his memos. And should mention, you know, we have a sense of what's in one of these memos. I'm told there's maybe a half a dozen more. Obviously, given the investigation and given the firing, you know, Andy McCabe isn't on the interview circuit, but you know, would obviously very much love to talk to him about what's in the other memos, right? Because
we all would. He has a standing invitation.
Half a dozen memos.
Let me stay on this with you, Frank Figliuzzi. Read you one more piece from